Hello people and welcome to this video. This is going to be the last part of our caro kann series. Well, not really the last part, but the last main variation that we will cover. This video is going to be the fantasy variation. Check out the other videos. With this we have then covered 5 of 5 main variations in the caro kann. And next is a video of all the sidelines and maybe the key ideas that we have learned so far. Well, my goal is to give you something that you can really understand, and in the fantasy of such weird move, it's really not that possible. The main lines are so weird that I had to find out something else. I came up with the conclusion that e6, which is a main move, this is completely fine. We want to play queen b6, and this is a sideline. The main move here is bishop b4, and I did so much analysis on this. You can see it all in the study. The link is going to be in the description. But yeah, I went for queen b6. We already target this king side here. And that is the variation that I will give you. I've really spent over an hour looking at all the variations. And I think that this is the best one. Yeah, queen b6. By the way, I want to tell you real quick. The way you can play this is also through this. But yeah, white has this extra option of a4 immediately. It's not so good, but it's an option. And with this, you kind of eliminate this. Here the main move is a3, because whenever we take, our queen is kind of trapped. Now that it doesn't have this a3 square. So yeah, knight f6, we put more pressure on the center. And again, I went with a sideline. The main move here is knight to d7, but knight to f6 is what I then decided to do, because after e5. Knight to d7, this is the best way to play for white. We have the same caro kann ideas like we usually have in advanced variation. We just play c5, we put a knight on c6, and we break the center. You really see I'm really trying to go for the plan. So f5, c5, f4 means c5, knight f3, knight c6. And after like bishop e3, we can take. After takes, we can play bishop c6, knight cb5. Looking for the d6 square. We can take and play castles after b4. We can take, and we really want to break into the center, because we need space for this bishop, for example. If we were to take right now, well, we cannot play f6 because the e6 is hanging. So we play f6 immediately. After like takes, we can take and then take. So this is equal. It's good to start with a5 to damage those pawns, but this is about this variation. One more thing you would need to know. Why don't we castle, for example? Well, here they have to move b4. And after bishop e7, knight f5, this is pretty dominating. So yeah, we take. And that is pretty much this variation. One more interesting thing is, what if they take us? Do we take with the knight or with the bishop? If you say the bishop, you are correct. We immediately look at this very weak spot on f2. We can remove white's castling rights. So yeah, let's go for the other variation. This time we're bishop e3 and not more e5. We can take, because it makes sense to open up the king when it's in the center like this. This diagonal opened up. If they do take with the knight, we can play knight d7 after something like queen c1 protecting b2. We play bishop e7, bishop e3 and castles. We can play e5, it will free our pieces. This knight come here, this bishop can open up. So it's very simple plans. But yeah, if they take with the f-pawn, we can play knight g4, and it's a brilliant move, because this knight is hanging and they can take it. Well, we can take on b2 and we have this double attack. So we immediately get it back, rook d1 and takes king f2, and we are much better. If they don't take it, but instead move the bishop, well, very simple, e5. Now this knight is protected, and after like takes, d takes, and bishop c5, we are very much dominating. This is pretty good. Let's go to the next variation. Now knight to e2. We play knight to f6. We very often play knight to f6, e5. Well, what if they play knight g3? we want to play a6, and the idea is again to break the center here. But whenever knight a4 comes, we can play queen a7. If bishop e3, we can take. And I've seen this many times in the database. I was very confused why that is. It's really not that good. It's risky, but it's not good. So yeah, if they play rook b1, we can go to a3. After rook b3, we can go to a5. After e5, we can put the knight back, and well, we can just put the queen back. I put it to a c7. The main move here by the engine is to put it on d8. You can also do that if you want. So yeah. But what if they play the main move here e5 and knight d7, f4, a6? Again, the same ideas as before. This diagonal is weak. We can break open the center. If knight a4, we put the queen on a7. We want to castle. And it's really the ideas of the advanced variation. This is why I chose this variation to begin with queen b6. It's extremely simple. Objectively, it's not the best. Sometimes we get like plus 0.3 positions, but overall it's absolutely playable. The two last ones, if white plays bishop to e3, and so far this bishop is protecting this pawn. If they move it, it's not more protected, so we can attack it. After b3, or something that I've seen many people play, is knight to d2. But we can take, after something like bishop to d3, we can put the queen on a3, knight d2, and c5. We want to close up the position. We don't really want to take or anything, we just want to close it up as we are up a pawn, and we could really use this space to even make a passed pawn. So let's see what happens if they take. Right now white is threatening to play knight b5 with a fork, and we can play a6. So we stop it, we can put the knight out, we can put this knight out, in whatever way, both of it is fine, and we castle. So that is very playable. If instead of bishop d3 they play a4, so that, well, we don't have this a3 square to escape anymore, we can just go back. We have the same plans as before, so that is very simple. b3, the main move. Knight d7. If we were to play c5 immediately, it's absolutely playable, but I thought it's after knight c6, they have knight a4. It's absolutely fine for the engine, but I don't know if I like it. Like queen to c7, they can immediately take, and we need to kind of play with e5. It's definitely complicated and not my goal. So yeah, knight d7. We just prepared one move. So yeah, c3. Knight c3 doesn't work here, because this bishop to d3 move disconnected the queen from this pawn, so we can just take it, and we are much better. So yeah, we take, and after queen d6 is just overall a very nice square. Please remember that the king is still in the center, so if we can try to centralize the queen, I think that is a good thing to do. After e takes, we want to take back with the queen, so that we keep this file closed for our king safety right now. After queen takes, we can play knight to f6, bishop c5, castle, and then open the center with e5, e4 maybe. So this is extremely simple with bishop to e3. Bishop to d3 is the last variation that we will look at. This is it right now, and you have to see that this pawn is now not more defended by the queen, so what we can actually do is immediately fight for the center. It's not defended, why wouldn't we? So c3, knight c6, knight to e2, we take. Again, it makes sense to open up the center when the king is weakened, like this. Our king really isn't weak, it's not castled, but you see, white cannot like break through this somehow. Everything is very nice under control. So yeah, and if they take, well, let's see what happens if they do take with their bishop. We can play knight to f6. Why is this given a dubious move? It should be something different instead. Well, anyways. So yeah, they can take, and the double pawns here are not worth it for the bishop here. You see, this bishop is extremely bad. On the other hand, we can put this bishop on d6, and it's extremely strong. We can castle, and we have a very nice play. Maybe even bishop a6. Look at this very active bishop here that we have. So doing this is not worth it from my side. If they take with the f-pawn on the other hand, they weaken the king so much. We can give this a check. After g3, we provoke all those holes. So after like something e5, you see how this bishop gets so much access to the white's position. This is why we do it, and we just simply drop a queen back. We can develop normally, we can castle, and this bishop will come through this diagonal. If the knight moves, we have a wonderful bishop. And this is that variation that we have. This is the last variation. If you want to have all the variations, if you want to study them, the study link is in the description. You can easily learn it from there. Okay, great. We have everything covered. The fantasy variation, the two knights attack, the exchange variation, the classical knight to c3, and the advanced variation. All 5 videos are out, all 5 variations are in the study that you can learn for free. From now on, what we're going to cover is sidelines, like this, for example, with bishop to c4. Well, what if they play like d3, for example? Stuff like that. So it's pretty much sidelines all in one video. After that, I want to do a video where I will explain all the key ideas that we have learned, so that you can also play the caro kann if you don't know any certain variations. I thank you a lot for watching this video, and hopefully you will be a great caro kann player. It's a very solid opening. Karpov used it so many times. People like Alireza, Fiducia also use it many times. It's a great opening, and I hope you have fun with it. See you soon.